Hey everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. Pink Buckaroo Designs. Let's see if I can say that right. It is day 2 of our Christmas in July craft along. If you joined me yesterday, you saw the first 2 of our 12 Christmas projects. It may be a warm 99 degrees outside, but inside we are doing Christmas. It's a fun way to escape the summer doldrums. As I mentioned yesterday, these projects are designed by 6 different demonstrators. We each did 2. These projects are designed by some of my very best Stampin' Up! Friends this time, which makes it even more fun. Not that the other times they weren't my friends. I love them all dearly, but these are my closest friends. We're going to do my projects today. We're going to do another fun fold. This one opens up like this and like that. Then we're going to make a box, and the box is designed for Biscoff cookies. I got these on Amazon. If I can remember, I'll put the link in on my blog. It's hard to find Christmas candy in June when we design these projects. So I went with Biscoff. Everybody likes Biscoff, right? The cookies you get on the airplane if you fly Delta. Okay, so as I also mentioned yesterday, we are using the Jar of Joy stamp set and punch, and I think actually, no, I am using a few things from the Holly Jolly as well. I'm using the branch and the holly and the Merry and the Christmas, okay? But we're not gonna use, well, we will, okay, I'm just a liar. We're gonna use this die right here and this die right here, the branch and the holly die. All right, so if you got the kit from me, we're going to go through the kit, and I'm going to show you how to cut and score your paper. If you did not get the kit, the PDF is free with a $50 purchase this week, or it's available in my PDF store for $25. It is a 30-page PDF with 12 tutorials, instructions, all that, the measurements and all that. Okay, for the card, we are going to need, let me just pull this out. For the card, we are going to need, let me look, paper, basic white. And I mentioned yesterday too, am I going to say I mentioned yesterday 100 times today? Okay, I'll stop. That'll be the last time I say it. There's basic white and then there's thick basic white. When you feel them together, you should be able to tell the difference. We just need regular basic white today. Then we need Misty Moonlight cardstock. Okay. For the box, you need Mossy Meadow. Boop, 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 boop. Did we use Mossy Meadow yesterday? We did, but just for the jar punch. And then Cherry Cobbler. And Cherry Cobbler, you have Real Red too, but Cherry Cobbler, as you can see, is much darker than Real Red. Of course, if you want to change and use something else, totally go for it. All right, now we do need a couple of pieces of the Designer Series paper. Country Woods, we're going to use the blue. And the white, kind of like shiplappy. Is that a word? Shiplappy. Let me see. What did I use? Oh, yeah. It's like shiplap boards. Let's see if I can find it in here. Right here. Okay, so it's the second one in the pack. Right there. And then from the tweed, we are going to use this pattern. And again, switch them up. If you don't like those patterns, you want to do something else, you have the prerogative to switch them up. Okay, paper trimmer is what we need first. And let's take a look and see if my measurements are correct. If you are here for Facebook Friday, you know I am really good at messing up my measurements. Okay, Misty Moonlight. Let's take, we need 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, so really you're just cutting this in half. Dark is the cutting blade. All right, and then remember, those of you that got the kit, you got this cute little bin as your pillow gift. Just put your little scraps in there. All right, and we're going to score this at 2 1/8. Park the dark so you don't cut it. 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. All right. The Country Woods paper, I want the slats to go across. So I'm going to cut this at 2 by 5 3/8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, All right, and then we're just the blue one, we're gonna do, uh-oh. If that ever happens to you, there's a little gap right here that you can slide your cutting thing in. If it just pops out, it's designed to pop out. I want the grain to go this way. So I'm actually gonna cut it like this. 5, what did I put on here? 5 1/4 by 4. And then you're gonna need just a little, like a little sliver of paper, which is this right here, all right? And I'm just gonna cut that 1/2 inch, and then we'll trim it when we get, and I realized basic white cardstock we needed, and we need thick basic, well, you can use regular basic white. Let's just use regular basic white for this. 4 1/2 by 6, okay, so we're gonna do 4 1/2 by 6, and then score it, park the dark so you don't cut your paper, at 3, right? So it's like a little mini card. Okay, so there is that. We're gonna need the rest of our white for stamping. Mossy Meadow, let's look at our notes and our PDF. So far, so good. I got everything right. Oh, I didn't use Mossy Meadow. I used Old Olive, it says. Well, okay, let's pull out the Old Olive. I think maybe my sample is Old Olive, but the directions say Mossy Meadow. You know, these colors are very similar and can be used interchangeably. All right, so just know that if we get to another project later in the week and you needed the whole sheet, you can use Mossy Meadow in place of, there's a very loud car outside. I hope you guys can't hear that. You can use Mossy Meadow and Old Olive interchangeably. All right, so we are going to cut it 7 by 7. So that means we need to open up the arm and do 7 by 7. Okay. You know what? No, we're gonna score. I'm gonna score it when we get there. The need for Tweed Designer Series paper. We're gonna, oh, look, and I do see a typo on there. 4 7/8. Both of those pieces should say 4 7/8. It says 4 and 8 and a star. Obviously, I was typing too fast. 4 7/8 by 1 7/8. All right, and then this next one is the same length, 4 7/8 by just 7/8. A little bit shorter than an inch. All right, and then the red, the real red, nope, cherry cobbler, we're gonna cut out, let's just cut off a 2-inch. You know, I hate to, well, okay, yeah, I hate to cut a whole piece for one little tag, but we're gonna do that. All right. Now, let me think of how I wanna do this. Boop-a-doop boop, what do we wanna do first? Let's do our box because it's gonna need to dry, okay? And then we'll do all the stamping at one time. So for your 7 by 7 cardstock, we're gonna score one side. They're the same, so it doesn't matter which side, at 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. Turn it and score it at 1 and 6. Now you can do the scoring with your Simply Scored, but I just really love you can do the scoring with your trimmer. Well, we had it out, but I just love my Simply Scored. I can read it better. I don't know, I just feel like I do a much better job when I use that. So that's why I switched over. All right, let's burnish all these lines with your bone folder. Now I have a little sample here so that I wouldn't forget what it looks like. There's also a photo in the PDF. All right, so we're gonna trim along this side. So one side has just the score lines on the outside. So turn that so that it's sideways. And we're gonna first cut off that square, that first square. Then trim, snip all those score lines like that. Now the squares, you want to cut off the corners of those squares. Okay, so there we've got the first side, and then we're just going to flip it over and do the exact same thing. So cut off that square, then snip, snip, snip. And you know, something that I tend to do is cut on the outside of the score line. Try to cut right down the middle of that score line. It does really make a difference. Okay, and there we go. That is what your piece looks like. All right, so let's see, I'm going to use liquid glue because that is my preference. You can use whatever adhesive you want. Up here where we cut the corners off, that is going to be our lid. All right, so I'm going to put adhesive on the tabs furthest away from that. And let me think. Okay, I'm gonna glue this. I'm gonna fold in the outside like that. Okay, then we're gonna take these and we're gonna put glue on the outside of them and fold them inward like that. Okay, now clothespins right here. This is how I do it. Hold the clothespins will hold it closed while it dries. All right, so let's set that aside and let's do our stamping for both jars. We're gonna do a jar for the snowman and a jar for the gingerbread. And I will tell you when we get to the gingerbread, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I just like to do things the hard way, you guys. I did the shadow lighter and the front image darker. I don't know. I don't know why. It didn't really make sense to me. So you'll have to decide which way you like it. All right, now I'm gonna stamp a couple of jars because I might make a mistake. Stamping this gingerbread man isn't super easy. I'm going to tell you that right now, not super easy. So if you have a stamp placement tool, get it. It'll be easier on you, I think, to line them up. All right, we're going to do blue on our this weird little image that almost looks like confetti. It is his hat, band, and scarf. And then before you close your ink pad, get the little snow and do some snow. This is Misty Moonlight ink. All right, that one's totally easy. You know, did I do the snowman yesterday? I think I did. Did I forget? Get an orange Stamp and Blend and color in his nose. Okay, so now here comes the tricky part. You know, let's get some grid paper and practice. That's what we should do. Get some grid paper and let's practice. I always say, you know, which is easiest? Stamping the solid image first or the background image first? I don't know. So let's see. Here we go. There's the solid. And then I did the background in, so I stamped off. So it's going to be lighter. So we'll try that and see what that looks like. You just kind of have to turn until you get that placement. And I didn't do a very good job. So now let's try doing this one in full strength. I think that one's probably the one that needs to be full strength because it's more the shadow. Re-ink, stamp off, and then try to line this up the best you can. This is Pecan Pie. Hey. Okay. I think Stampin' Up! Knew better than me. So let's try. Let's see. All right, Pecan Pie. If you haven't used this stamp yet, practice. Practice on some. See, I didn't go real low. Let's do this one down here. Practice on some grid paper, scratch paper. I don't know if you guys can see, but I didn't go down to the bottom of the jar there. All right, so now we'll stamp off. That'll be plan B if this doesn't go so well. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, I think I'll stick with that. Now we've got some little accessories. I'm gonna stamp the holly in Memento. And then did I get, looks like I stamped it in Old Olive, but I don't think I put that on the supply list. So let's just do Memento. 2 branches, 1, 2. All right, now get your Stampin' Blends. You're gonna need Old Olive and Cherry Cobbler. And I think I'm just gonna take my light, whoops, I don't want the brush end. I think I'm just gonna take my light and color in these leaves. No need to get fancy with shading unless you want to. They're very small. So when you go to color, you might need to just like tap, tap, tap your marker on the really small ones. All right, like that. Let's keep this out. Let's do the holly. Now the holly is a little bit bigger, so I might do a little bit of shading. I don't know. Color that in. Luckily, there are dies for this. Let's see. Old Olive Dark is pretty dark. Let's see, I'll put a little bit of a shadow kind of on the bottom and on the inside. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then you could take your light and kind of blend it out like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, now take your Cherry Cobbler. Oh, you know what else we got to stamp? It's the jar lid. Now you can just punch out a jar lid. I've done it 2 different ways. We're going to stamp it here and we're going to punch it here. So Cherry Cobbler ink pad. Now here, remember when you are doing your punch, think about, you know, like if you stamp things above here and you go to punch them out, you may accidentally punch the lid out of an image. So space these things out. I like to do the lid on the very edge of the paper. All right, and then let's go back in with light Cherry Cobbler and color that in. Ooh, that looks like kindergartner colored that. What in the world? Okay, well, let's see if punching it out makes it any better. Well, most of it's going to be covered up by the holly, so I'm just gonna go for it. Oh my gosh, you guys, look what I just did there. Darn it. Don't you hate when that happens? I must have it on my fingers. Okay, so punch your jars out. And then let's just take this, we're gonna die cut these. While we are punching, get out that scrap of Misty Moonlight that we had left, and let's punch the lid from there. Okay, all right. Now, okay, so we're going to, let's glue these on while we do our die cutting. It can dry. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed of this jar lid. I color way better when I'm sitting down, but when I film my videos, I'm standing up. That's what I'm blaming it on. Okay, so now grab your dies, your Holly Jolly dies. Let's see, are we gonna do the larger one? Yeah, you need the larger rectangle. Oh yeah, we gotta get the branch and the holly. All right, let's bring over the cut and emboss machine. Let me just slide everything over. And we will line these up. There we go. Obviously, I smeared red ink there at one point as well. Inky fingers will get you in trouble. All right, now cut that little branch. Sprig, I should call it a sprig, right? It's not a branch, it's a sprig. Uh-oh, don't lose your die. Put it back. sprig and rectangle. Okay, I think we've done all the prep work, maybe. So let's start with our card. Oh, I'm so sad. You need to also pull out from, if you got the kit, you need to pull out your rectangle, okay? This is the Textured Notes rectangle. And let's get that little piece, the little scrap. Let's start by stamping Merry Christmas. And remember, these two are from the Holly Jolly. So I'm kind of mixing the stamp sets. Merry Christmas. Move that guy out of the way. All right, then let's take, look, I'm going to use, I love using this little skinny edge right here of my dimensionals. Let's put that there. And then we're going to just take this 1/2 inch scrap and I'm going to put it on there like that. But then I'm just going to trim a little bit longer, and then this one we'll just trim like that. Okay, let's get our cute little snowman, put that there. Our little sprigs, I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back. And I hope my video is still on. My screen has gone dark. I'm going to be very upset. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, I can see it. That has happened to me more times than I would like to that I would like to talk about. That is so upsetting when you record a video and you're done, you go and realize, no, actually it didn't record. All right, get your low profile dots. I'm going to use the blue ones. And we'll just kind of sprinkle them around like that. Maybe one more right there. All right. Okie dokie. Let's get our pieces and put it all together. All right, so your card base, we scored it like that, but then we have this other score line that needs to go all the way backwards. It's going to fold outwards. Get your little shiplap piece. We're going to put that right there on the front. Then on the inside, we'll put that piece. Okay. Then we're going to take this card, and you might want to glue it like this, like how it opens, but no, we're going to glue it like this. All right. So now here's the trick. Kind of squeeze it in there and look at it and get it nice and centered. Okay, so that's how it opens. And then we will put on our rectangle like that. Very cute. You can write your message inside. And then let's get that gorgeous ribbon, which is in my little bin here. Oh, wait, I have one that's open. And I'm going to tie this ribbon around this front panel like this. This is a Mossy Meadow and Gold ribbon. Really beautiful. I don't know if I've mentioned, but all of these products are online exclusives, which means you will not find them in the catalog. They're available to anybody, not just demonstrators. Sometimes people think online exclusive means just demonstrators, but that is definitely not the case. Available to everyone. Online. You just have to go to the Stampin' Up! Website. And there's even a little icon that says online exclusives. And you can click that and you'll find it. All right. Let's see. Our bow needs to go up higher. Ooh, that's a good bow. All right. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But today, well, now that I've messed it up, today it looks pretty good. All right. There we go. There's your first card or your first project today. All right. Now the box. We have glued it. Take off those. Let's put our little Biscoff inside. That's how it's going to close. Fold these in. You want the tabs to go in like that. Oh, you know what? They're not going in very well. Let's do something different. Let's cut them in half. That's going to help them go in. Okay, like that. Like that. There we go. But this little flap stays out. All right, so we're going to adhere this DSP right here. And then we're going to adhere this DSP on the front flap. Sticking to my fingers and not the paper. Oh my gosh, come on. Stick it around here. There we go. All right, and then grab that ribbon again. I literally just had it. I literally just had it. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, crazy. You know, I was going to say, on the card, instead of using the ribbon, if you want to use the twine, I think the twine would work just fine there as well. That red and white baker's twine. All right, so that's how the box stays closed, but now we need to make the tag. And you're going to need to get your heat tool and your embossing powder. Okay, the sentiment I am using is the one from Jar of Joy, wishing you the sweetest Christmas. And we are going to emboss. So get your embossing buddy. Rub that real well. Stamp your sentiment and Versamark on the right side because we want to leave the left side for our jar. There we go. Let's see, we might need a little bit more there. We will clean that up later. And get your heat tool. And as soon as it hits that right temperature, you're going to see the, oh my goodness. This is why I need to get my reverse tweezers. You will see it turn bright white and shiny. There we go, very cute. All right, now I'm going to take dimensionals. I'm only going to adhere this to this flap on the top so that when they open it, this little tag, why is everything sticking to me today? This little tag will stay stuck to the lid. All right, so we're going to put that right there. Let's get our little our little weirdo lid here on this one. It was terrible. All right, and then, but we'll cover it up. I'm going to get a glue dot over here off camera. You can't see it, but I'm getting it. And then, oh, look, perfect. Look, you can't even tell. You can't even tell. Now, I didn't add any dots here, but you could if you want to. All right, you guys, that's it for day 2. I hope you enjoyed my projects today. This is a really fun set to play with. Lots of options. You can, of course, change the paper, change the ink color, change whatever you want. All right, you guys, join me tomorrow, same time, same place, for 2 more Christmas projects in our Christmas in July craft along. See you tomorrow. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.